How's it going, everybody? Mike here, and in this video, I want to talk about, well, the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley announced all the nominees finally today, and if you don't know, the actual event itself will be taking place on December 12th at 8 p.m. EST. There'll be a pre-show at 7:30 p.m. EST. So, yeah, and it's the typical categories you usually expect. I think there was one or two in here might be new this year, or at least I don't remember from last year, or they just kind of blended one or two together. Correct me in the comments on that one, but yeah. And so I just want to let you guys know about this in case you haven't seen them, haven't heard about them, things like that. I'm not going to give my own personal predictions in this video yet. I'll do a separate video for that. Also, I may be doing that in a My Hero podcast as well too, or I might make a video about what I vote for, on the website as well. So just stay tuned for that, guys. But in this video, yeah, I want to go over the nominees for pretty much every category. Now, the first here, I'm going to kind of start from like at least how this is listed on IGN. I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to save the game of the year and best game direction, things like that towards the end, guys. So when it comes to this first set here, which is esports related stuff, I'm not really, into this type of stuff. Like if it's anything like competitive, I watch usually is going to be fighting games like Evo and other type of like fighting game tournaments. I'm a fighting game guy, but I mean, it's cool. I respect it. And I'm glad that they're acknowledging the esports scene in various ways through the best esports team here, best esports athlete, best esports game as well. So, and honestly, when it comes to esports game, like a lot of these are the same almost every year, like with the Dota 2, League of Legends, Counter-Strikes like that. Like, I feel like we see those almost every year in some capacity, if not all three. Valorant, stuff like that. So, it's just like, all right, cool, but it's there. And then content creator of the year, you got the nominees here. As you can see, I don't really pay too much attention to this either. Personally, I don't really know any of these people like that, and it's not against them at all. But I am happy that they are being recognized. These people are being nominated because it shows that they are working hard and they do good at what they do. Essentially, as content creators, like they are being noticed, they are being respected, they're being recognized in this manner. So yeah, like good luck to all the nominations here in Wonder Content Creator Year. So we'll see what happens with that. Now when it comes to most anticipated game for next year, 2025, this makes a lot of sense to me with Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4, Beyond, Monster Hunter Wilds. I know for me personally, Monster Hunter Wilds is my most anticipated game next year, but I can easily see Grand Theft Auto 6 being the popular vote here, and I guess I wasn't going to give my predictions per se just yet, but that's just like a slight, I guess, prediction there, or at least a feeling I have maybe that could, because Grand Theft Auto, let's just be real, Grand Theft Auto franchise is a big franchise, and a lot of people play that series, so, it makes sense that all these games are here. Nothing really here too surprising with this category. So yeah, good ones there to choose from, guys. And just a reminder, you can vote right now on the Game Awards website if you want to, as far as your picks for all these different categories. Then there's best adaptation, which is going to be related to like TV shows and movies when it comes to video games. So we got Arcane that just released, which makes sense. Fallout TV show, which really did good. I really enjoyed that. Knuckles, I didn't watch it, but I watched Angry Joe's review of it, and yeah, don't want to watch it. Like a Dragon, Yakuza, as much as I love this series in terms of the games, I kept reading and hearing about that this show did a disservice overall to the franchise itself. So yeah, didn't watch that. Don't think I want to, because I think it just won't be for me. Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. I'm surprised about this one. I guess I just didn't hear about this one. I didn't even know. It was like, I guess it's a show. I think it's an animation or something like that. But yeah, I didn't check that out. I hear about that year. But these are some good nominations here, I would say. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Best multiplayer game. We got Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Makes sense. Helldivers 2. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Tekken 8. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Honestly, I'm just simply happy that a Warhammer game is getting nominated for at least this category, at least one of these categories. So yeah, I don't know if Space Marine 2 has enough of it to win, just because I've tried the multiplayer and co-op stuff in there, and it's okay, but there's just not enough like meat to the bones of it, or not enough substance to it, I feel like. So I think one of these other four games is gonna take it. I don't know which one yet. Like I said, I'll do a separate video where I feel like I will pick my personal pick for this one, but I feel like the other 4 games are gonna have a better chance of winning this category. Best sports / racing game. I'm not a big sports guy, so this is kind of like, all right, cool. I'm glad, you know, these games are being recognized, and I think this is the one I was thinking of, like, might have been blended, because I thought sports was its own category. It didn't include racing, but maybe they decided to include racing with this one this year. Maybe they did it last year too. I don't know. I forget. I thought racing was its own category or sports was its own category before though. But yeah, it's cool here. You know, WWE 2K24, NBA, all that, EA and F1, all that stuff. So good picks here to choose from, guys. So yeah, if you're a sports gamer, hopefully you're happy with this, unless you feel like there's other ones out there that deserve to be nominated. Then we got Best Sim Strategy Game, which includes Frostpunk 2, makes sense. Age of Mythology Retold, which is a remake. Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess, which I personally really enjoyed. I played it earlier this year and just had a blast with this game. Manor Lords, I've tried that out as well through Game Pass and didn't beat anything like that. Just try it out, check it out. Really enjoyable. Still early access, so I definitely had fun with it. If you're into that type of style, like medieval, you know, challenging type of like simulation game, yeah, I recommend that one. Unicorn Overlord, I didn't play, didn't get, but I've had a few friends that have gotten it and played it, and they said it's really, really good. It's obviously it's Vanillaware games from Sega Atlas, so you kind of know what you're getting into if you've played these type of games before from Sega Atlas. So these are some good nominations, and yeah, the main one I know about and played is Path of the Goddess. So I know that I think that underperformed though, but it was good they put it on Game Pass, because I don't think it would have done as well if they didn't put it on Game Pass. And it's just this style of genre is just unique, you know, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people in general, when it comes to gamers, are just not into strategy games like this anymore. From like, you know, Total War games and other type of strategy games, they're just not super into it like they were like 5, even 10 years ago. It is what it is, but these still all have their, you know, kind of like followings, cult followings or support. So it's glad they're getting recognized still. Then we have Best Family Game, and the games here are Princess Peach Showtime, Astrobot, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, The Plucky Squire to round it out. And these are some good nominations, in my opinion. Yeah, these definitely fit the family game type of genre or style. I don't know too much about The Plucky Squire, but I think that it's like an indie darling type of game in a sense, where like I think it has done really well for itself. And the other 4 games, like 3 of them are Nintendo, one's PlayStation. So I would not be surprised if one Nintendo games took this, to be real, but we'll have to wait and see. Then we got Best Fighting Game, which is Granblue Fantasy versus Rising, which honestly is a much better version of this fighting game franchise than the previous one. I still have yet to play it, but I've seen plenty of gameplay, read up on it, things like that. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, not too surprising. That sold like hotcakes. It sold so much. And yeah, that could win this. It's possible. I would say over Granblue. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, such a freaking great collection overall. Still got to get that myself and play it. And the marquee game being Marvel vs. Capcom 2. This could arguably win this as well, but at the same time, these are a bunch of old games, you know, fighting games that have made a comeback in a way. Multiverses, which understandably released this year, and I think it unfortunately underperformed and disappointed many people. So I'm glad it's getting nominated here, but I just don't see that win this one. And then Tekken 8 here, Tekken 8, man, such a great fighting game overall. So it's gonna be tough. I think the ones that you don't want to miss out on and pay attention to is probably Tekken 8, Dragon Ball, and Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Like those seem like they're gonna be the real like 3 that's fighting for this type of category. Then we have Best RPG. Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, which I'm surprised this got nominated. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking that it would initially, because Shadow of the Erdtree was just an expansion. And yes, don't get me wrong, the expansion just changed the game forever. And they also did like updates to the base game that changes the game. Like Elden Ring in general is just a different game from when it launched in 2022, guys. So if you've not played it, I recommend it. It is a much, much different game without even mods added in there. So it plays a lot different, plays a lot better overall. And I was actually kind of surprised by that, because I'm thinking like, wait, I thought this was treated as an expansion, so they're gonna treat Elden Ring Shadow Tree as like a full game. So maybe because it's so impactful and it's sold a lot, and to be real, it is impactful. The Elden Ring is like one of the most impactful, revolutionary like games in the video game history and in our modern gaming time and things like that. So it makes sense in a way that it's here. I just was not expecting it. And then we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which you guys know how much I love FF7 or Final Fantasy games in general. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I love this series as well too. Metaphor Refantasio. So these last three really make sense for me, as well as Dragon's Dogma 2. So Elden Ring was just a big surprise there for me to be nominated. But heck yeah, I'm looking forward to see how this turns out. Then we got Best Action / Adventure Game with Astrobot. This makes sense. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown also makes sense. Silent Hill 2. Yep. The Star Wars Outlaws, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. So some good stuff here. I'm gonna be real though, I did not see Star Wars Outlaws win in this category, but it's nice they got nominated. But yeah, woo-wee. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but the other one's definitely one of those could take it. Best Action Game, we got Black Myth Wukong. This makes a lot of sense. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, yeah, okay. Helldivers 2, yeah, okay. Stellar Blade, that makes sense here as well. And then it's Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, that makes sense. So, for this one, I personally don't feel Helldivers 2 or Black Ops 6 should win this one. So, but we'll see. I think the other three games have a better chance. But like I said, my number one pick, I'll say that for a separate video as far as what I think will win each of these categories, with the exception of the like Content Creator of the Year and like esports stuff, because I don't really care too much about that or pay attention too much about that. But I still respect those categories and, you know, people involved in that. They're being nominated. Best VR AR games. So I don't care about VR either, really. This is another one I'm not paying attention to too much. But we got Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow, Metal Hellsinger, and Metro Awakening. The two games here that are my personal highlights, I would say, for me, that I like have some interest in, is Batman Arkham Shadow and Metro Awakening. Both these franchises I really dig. I like them. They're fun. The other three I don't really know all that much about, so we'll have to see. I think, you know, it could be any of these, but, you know, it might be Batman, it might be Metro Awakening. I don't know. It's like being more popular ones that could take it. One of those, who knows. Best mobile game. I'm not a mobile game guy either, so I'm not too involved or vested in this stuff here. We got AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero. This is gonna be tough. But I feel like it's gonna be more of a tough pick between Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero, maybe. I don't know. Well, no, maybe Pokemon actually. So we'll have to see. Best debut indie game: Balatro, Animal Well, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, The Plucky Squire. So what's interesting here is Manor Lords is in this, even though it's early access. And I think all these other games are full launch games, like they're not early access. So I don't know if they should include early access games and Game Awards stuff at all, to be honest. I mean, it was surprising they had Manor Lords in a different category as well, even though I do enjoy it. Check that out on Game Pass. But yeah, I don't know, man. But that's what the committee, these games are decided through a global committee that they vote on. So that's their decision on it. Pacific Drive, I know, had some issues at launch and things like that. And I don't know too much about Plucky Squire, but I think it's done really well for itself. Manor Lords is popular and it's on right. Animal Well is a good game too, from what I've heard and read, and Balatro as well as an addictive game. So yeah, I think this will be, you know, great category, tough to figure out, see what happens. And then I know this is going a while here, guys. I'm trying to be quick, but I like talking about this stuff, and this is going to be in like a 15 to 20 minute video probably. Best independent game, we got Animal Well, Balatro, really, and the Laser Eyes. Don't know about that one. Never, I don't remember that one here. In UFO 50, I don't know about that one. So the only ones here I know about: Balatro, Animal Well. Yeah, I don't know. This is interesting here. We'll have to wait and see, like I keep talking about, and I know I'm probably sound like broken record on that, but this is some cool stuff here. I like that the indie games are getting more shine and more love overall, and not just these two categories, but other categories too. So, and it's not surprising where Balatro is also going to be at later on when I talk about it in this video. Best community support: Baldur's Gate 3, not surprising at all, with all the mod community support and things like that. Final Fantasy 14, another game that's not too surprising because of the expansion that came out earlier this year, on top of like the increased amount of players, because now this game's on Xbox consoles as well, and it's through Game Pass, I think, is too. And yeah, like the community has just grown so much more this year in Final Fantasy 14. Baldur's Gate 3, I would say as well too. Fortnite, Helldivers 2, No Man's Sky, also interesting stuff. These games are consistently getting updates too. Although Helldivers 2, I think, has fallen off to a certain degree, or more so than these other titles, but it's still thriving, still has a healthy community, and I'm glad that it's a lot of fun still for people. I still have to go back to it at some point and play because I want to see what they've done to make it better, but it's had some issues throughout the year from some weird and bad decision making stuff going on with it. But who knows? It could be like a No Man's Sky in the future, where like we know No Man's Sky started off rough and had some bad decision making stuff happen, and that game redeemed itself in a sense. The devs fixed it and made it a lot better game. So Helldivers 2 could be a similar situation. Best ongoing game, Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2. This all makes sense here, with this all being like multiplayer, live service type games, things like that. So yeah. Diablo 4, I think, is revitalized itself in a sense, and I think won some of the community back. Destiny 2, I think that's like, I don't know. I think they messed up quite a bit with that one. 14 still, like I said earlier, brought a lot of new players in this year, doing very well. It could take it. Helldivers 2, not doing so hot, though, I feel like overall, like Destiny 2. Fortnite, I think that's always going to be popular in some way, so, but it's going to at least be nominated, but I don't think Fortnite can win every time. We'll see. Games for Impact, Closer to Distance, Indica, Neva, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, which is a remake, I believe, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Tales of Kenzara Zao. Good nominations here, guys, and this is another one where I'm not too familiar with, like I would say half of these games, like the first three. The last three I am more familiar with, though, and definitely feel like maybe a lot of people are too. I don't know. Games for Impact, I think it might be down to one of the last three, but we'll see. Innovation and accessibility, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age of Veilguard, Prince of Persia Lost Crown, Star Wars Outlaws. All these have really good accessibility options. I have checked them out. Funny enough, I technically either own or like have played these in some way. I literally just checked out Black Ops 6, like at times recording like last night, where I get my settings together, and they have some decent accessibility options. Not as good, I think, though, as maybe some of these other games have. Diablo 4 is pretty decent accessibility options. Dragon Age of Veilguard, there's so much I can say about that when it comes to accessibility options and things like that. They definitely dropped the ball in this area and a few other areas, in my opinion, with some stuff I will talk about in my review when I review that game. So moving on from that, we got Best Performance here, which is different actors, voice actors, actresses in gaming. And I love that they are getting recognized for this. So we got Hannah Tell, Life is Strange, Double Exposure. We got Brianna White, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Humberly Gonzalez, Star Wars Outlaws. Luke Roberts, Silent Hill 2. And Melina Jurgens, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. I apologize if I mispronounce anybody's name, as I hate to do that, and I don't mean any type of disrespect. I don't know. This is tough. These are all great voice actors, so I'll definitely have my pick in a different video for sure. And Best Audio Design here, I've got Astrobot, Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2. Honestly, all these games I think did really good audio design, except for maybe Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. I tried to play that and had some issues with that, technical problems with that game. Black Ops 6, I'll say it's pretty decent. Probably the best audio design. I don't know. I think it's going to be decided between, I think, what a lot of people are going to gravitate towards: Rebirth, Astrobot, or Silent Hill 2. Best score music: Astrobot, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Metaphor Fantasio, Silent Hill 2, Stellar Blade. Ooh, these are some good picks here, good nominations. I'm not too familiar with the music of Astrobot, but I've heard some of the music more so from like Metaphor, Rebirth, obviously. Silent Hill 2, yeah, definitely. Stellar Blade as well, heard some music, and got some really banger tracks. And that's had an update, I think, that's added more music as well to it. So, it's nice that Stellar Blade's getting a few other nominations here in terms of categories. Yeah, I think honestly it could come down to really any of these. Like they're all good games, all great games, very popular. So that's gonna be tough. It depends on what is decided on Best art direction, Astrobot, Black Myth: Wukong, Elden Ring: Shadow Erdtree, Metaphor ReFantazio, Neva. Neva, like I said, I don't know too much about that game, honestly, but the other four, man, really great art from all of them. My favorite in terms of what I've played, I would say is, gonna be Elden Ring, but, do I think that's gonna win it? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna be too revealing of what I want to win in each category, but man, this is tough and really good nominations here to decide upon. We're about to be closing the gap here, guys, on this. So best narrative, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I still got to beat, Metaphor, which I still got to get to and beat at some point, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Silent Hill 2, and with this being remakes, add in here too. I know some people argue like remakes shouldn't get nominated for some of this stuff and whatnot, but well, technically, I feel like they should if it's like a new game in a sense. They've added new stuff to it, new content to revamp it or anything like that. So, yeah. But Silent Hill 2 is a bit surprising in terms of narrative, just because I think it's overall the same story. But you can say about Rebirth as well too, with it being a remake of a game, but it's a sequel to the first game. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, would depend on what the remake is about. Yeah, like if it adds new stuff to it, flips the script a bit, I can see why. This is going to be really tough. I mean, I already got my mind made up about this one. These are all great games, guys, and great franchises. Although Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 couldn't really play due to technical problems, and it was a really short game. I think it was shorter than the first one, too. So I would say, at least in that regard, I don't think Hellblade 2 is going to really be winning anything from any nominations it's getting this year. And then Best Game Direction, Astrobot, not too surprising, that's nominated. Balatro, sorry. Black Myth: Wukong, not surprised about that. Elden Ring: Shadow Erdtree, this once again surprised me because, like I said, Shadow Erdtree is an expansion that does change the game up, whatnot, but it's like surprising how they want to include it into the base game or include it as like, okay, it's a complete package now, because Shadow Erdtree itself can technically be like its own separate game in a sense. So this is wild to me how this is getting nominated. And will Elden Ring pull off another win? Because they won Game of the Year in 2022, and I don't know, man. They could take this one. They could take another category they're in. Rebirth, obviously, in here too. Metaphor is in here too. And yeah, like this is just a stacked nomination category of games here. And finally, Game of the Year, literally the same. So the fact that all 6 games are both in Best Game Direction and Game of the Year, like, is wild to me. This is going to be unpredictable, I think, and in some aspect, because man, this is really tough, at least for me, because for me, I gotta decide like the 4 games here that I'm really like into or like or have attachment to in some way that I think are like any one of them could take it. Black Myth: Wukong, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor. Actually, no, I take that back. Black Myth: Wukong is a great game. Do I think it's Game of the Year material? Yes, but will it win Game of the Year? I do not think so. That's at least what I'll say in this video. I've been saying throughout this video, like games I think are just not going to win or not as popular to win a category. So, and don't get me wrong, Black Myth is a great game. Had a fun time with it. Is the Game of the Year material? Yes, it deserves a nomination. Balatro, don't know too much about. Astrobot 2, I would say deserves Game of the Year nomination. And I feel like it's, with Elden Ring being involved, it's going to probably actually come down to between Astrobot, Elden Ring, Shadow Erdtree, Rebirth, and Metaphor. I think it's going to come down to one of those winning it, taking it all. But like I said, this is such a cool lineup overall with all the different categories, and especially for Game of the Year. This is very interesting. We had a crazy industry shakeup last year with Baldur's Gate 3 winning it, even though a lot of people felt like, yeah, Zelda's going to win. Zelda should take it, this and that. And it was very awesome to see that Larian Studios with Baldur's Gate 3 took it. Technically an independent game, won Game of the Year last year, and it was freaking fantastic to see and witness. So, what you think might be the standard or might be the go-to win for Game Awards going forward is probably not the case. So this one, this could be another crazy shakeup. Who knows? Black Myth may take it. Who knows? But I've already got my personal Game of the Year that I've talked about, often. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this, like the other categories, guys. This is the nominations that we got. Check out the website as far as GameAwards.com to put your vote in if you want to vote, and or just see the lineup yourself and just look at it more. And I think Jeff revealed something about they'll have a player's choice or something like that on December 2nd. That'll be purely decided by us. So yeah, exciting stuff, man. Great time to be a gamer. It's honestly, despite some of the issues this year in the gaming industry and things like that, it's still been a pretty good year and arguably a great year in gaming overall. We've had some really good bangers. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful and insightful and things like that to some degree. Let me know your thoughts, man. Like, who are you going to vote for with these categories? Who are you going to vote for? Let me know. Love to hear from you guys. So, and stay tuned for more. Like I said, I'll do a separate video or maybe my podcast. I'll give my actual predictions of what will win each category or maybe my picks as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And check out links in the description here if you want to support, go above beyond, things like that. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment, all that great stuff, guys. My name's Mike. Thanks for watching.